We're going to get into it right now because I've got 10 guys to get through. Coming in at number 10, quarterback. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode on the College Underdogs YouTube channel. I am your host, Trey Smith, and I'm going to just tell you right off the bat, we are talking ball today. We're talking straight football. I know some of you have forgotten how to do that with all the realignment stuff over the past couple of years, but I'm talking ball today. I'm going to give you my top 10 group of 5 quarterbacks, and I want to know your thoughts in the comments. And if you disagree with something, that's fine. You know, disagreements are always welcome on this channel, but please put some substance behind it. If I left someone off you think should be on, put that person and make a case for it. If I've got someone ranked too high or too low, let me know and make a case for it. But I feel pretty strongly about this list, and this can be an evolving list as the season plays out. But if I were to put my top 10 QBs to start the season at the G5 level, this is what it would be. Let's get into it. But before we do, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment at the end, share it with a friend, and let some people know, man. If you know some other fellow G5 football fans, mid-major football fans that are, fans of the college underdog football conferences or teams, send them this channel, okay? This is the one spot stop, the one spot shop. I don't know. I think I messed the saying up on the video the other day, and I just did again, but you get what I'm saying. So like the video, share the video, watch the whole video, and then leave me a comment of your agreements, disagreements, whatever. We're going to get into it right now because I've got 10 guys to get through. Coming in at number 10, quarterback at Boise State, the USC transfer Malachi Nelson. Listen, I know this kid has yet to start a college football game, but I do believe if he is able to get the playbook sorted out at Boise, he will have an elite season. I think he will be at the higher end of this list as the season plays out. If he's able to put the whole playbook together, he was with Boise for spring ball. He is on track to be their starter. He was a 5-star talent in high school, went to USC, for whatever reason ends up transferring to Boise State, and he's got arm talent. He's got skill. He can play the game. I think the system that he's in at Boise State is perfect for his skill set. He's got Genty in the backfield, which takes a significant amount of pressure off. So that's my number 10. All right, number 9 might be someone you've never even heard of. And if you've never heard of this dude, you need to Google him right after this video. But it's UNLV's quarterback, Matt Sluka, transfer from Holy Cross. Now, if you remember, Holy Cross's head coach, I believe, is who got the JMU job when it came open. Early in the portal season, I think people were projecting Sluka to end up at JMU. He ended up going to UNLV. And this dude's skill set is perfect for the offense UNLV runs. They've deemed it the go-go offense. If you actually watch it, though, it's kind of it's very similar to what Liberty does. It's very similar to Chadwell's offense at Liberty. Its roots are in the Briles veer and shoot, but when I watch it, and I don't claim to be some guru, but I don't see as much of the old school veer and shoot principles in it other than the option game that, is all over college football now. But it's very similar. There's a lot of triple option out of spread and sort of wonky formations. Anyways, the coordinator, I think Coach Marion, calls it the go-go offense. Sluka is a perfect fit for that. In fact, I could see him having a similar season this year to what Kaden Salter had last year at Liberty. So number 9 is Matt Sluka at UNLV. Number 8, give me E.J. Warner out of Rice. Yes, E.J. Warner, son of Hall of Famer Kurt Warner. He was Temple's starting quarterback the past 2 years, transferred out. I don't know what the actual story is, but just from watching the games, I would imagine E.J. wanted to get somewhere where he could get some protection. Okay, because if you watched Temple football last year, he was running for his life a lot of the year. Still managed to put up 3,000 yards and 23 touchdowns. His freshman year, his true freshman year, also threw for 3,000 yards and I think had 18 touchdowns. So we saw a 5-touchdown increase, even though Temple was not very good last year. Their O-line up front was not very good. So if you look at Rice runs more of a power run game, West Coast pro-style offense. Their coach is from that the Stanford tree. So I think he's connected to that Harbaugh tree. I think they'll protect him at Rice, at least better than at Temple, but we'll see. I'd like to think him in a system where he can go through his progressions and go through his reads. He's a very heady quarterback. I expect him to continue his trend and really, I think E.J. Warner takes the step forward this season that everyone thought he was going to take forward last season. Now, it's not that he didn't take a step forward, or I should say he took a step forward. He didn't take a leap forward like I think a lot of people anticipated him to, and I attribute a lot of that to his offensive line, whereas this year I project him to take the leap forward in this Rice system that we thought he might take a season ago. So E.J. Warner at number 8. Number 7, give me the fire breather, UAB, Jacob Zeno. So Zeno had, what was it? A 73% completion percentage a year ago. Yes, 73.6 completion percentage, 3,100 yards passing, 20 touchdowns. For him to move up the list, though, they got to win some more games. And his defense is going to have a lot to do with that. Other thing, from Zeno's perspective, he's very efficient, very smart, makes good decisions, but I think his completion percentage was also helped significantly by the types of throws he was making last season. So I'm curious to see if he pushes the ball downfield a little bit more this year with UAB. Obviously, he's going to need to get some help from his defense, as I just said, but I think if their defense is improved and he's continues the momentum and builds on what he did a season ago, I think he's primed for a really big year this year in that UAB offense. Next, what number am I on? So that's 10-9-8-7. So Zeno was at 7. Okay, this to me, though, is where I think you kind of see a natural split, right? I think on the list, these next 6 guys, man, it's very difficult. And I think any of them could end up being the top quarterback out of all of Group of 5 by the end of the season. But I think you see a natural split from 7 to 6 with this particular list. Obviously, with Malachi Nelson and even Matt Sluka, they haven't even started football games at the FBS level. I think with EJ and Zeno, just coming off down seasons, playing for losing teams a year ago, sort of hurts their stock in my book, even though it wasn't all their fault. There's just still some question marks there. Okay, can they win big games? Can they, lead their team to at least bowl eligibility? I think that would be a reasonable expectation for both Rice and UAB. But now we're getting into some quarterbacks and some teams that they're expecting to compete for that playoff spot. And if not, definitely conference championship in their respective conferences, and then hoping to get that playoff spot as well. And so I'll start at number 6, which is Mikey Keane out of Fresno State. So Mikey Keane, he's the former UCF quarterback. In fact, started, I think, his true freshman year coming off the bench. He didn't go into the season as a starter, but ended up starting due to injury. Then lost the job the following season to Plumlee, the Ole Miss transfer. Transferred to Fresno State, named the starter a season ago, threw for nearly 3,000 yards, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, had Fresno in the hunt for that New Year's 6 bid for most of the season, had 2 Power 5 victories, and I think playing for a coach like Coach Tedford, who is a quarterback guy, that year 2 for Mikey Keane should be special. I think he's going to take a step forward, a leap forward. And let me look real quick. last season. When did they? It was Wyoming. It was that close game at Wyoming. And then they rebounded. And then they hit that 3-game skid late in the season. That's what killed Fresno's season, essentially. But they still went 9-4. I know they're expecting to compete for the Mountain West Conference Championship, which would put them in the talk and in the hunt for a playoff spot. And like I said, year 2 under Tedford, I think we'll see a leap forward from Mikey Keane. And I think if he takes a leap forward, Fresno, they could be a team to watch this year. Next on my list, coming in at what? Number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I should have numbered them on my notes here. Number 5, give me Byron Brown out of South Florida. USF, baby. # Go Bulls. So Alex Golesh takes over a year ago, a team that hadn't won 4 games in 4 years, and immediately cleans house, turns over nearly the entire roster. Golesh coming from Tennessee coming off that New Year's 6 season when they upset Bama, I believe it was. Another guy with veer and shoot roots in his offensive philosophy. Looked like Gary Bohannon may be the starter coming into the season, as he was the year before. Byron Brown, redshirt freshman, ends up winning the job, takes over. And I don't know if there was an injury that was at play that got Byron Brown that first start, but he played so well in that first game against Western Kentucky, I believe, he wasn't going to lose that job. And he just continued to get better as the season played out. In fact, his numbers ended up, he was a 3. Yep, that's what it was. I couldn't remember if he was a 3,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher, but he rushed for 800 yards. So he was nearly a 3,000-yard, 1,000-yard player in his first season as a starter. 26 touchdown passes, 11 rushing touchdowns. Look, I think USF right now is primed for a big season. I think they will be a team that we're talking about down the stretch with playoff type implications. I think they're going to be a true threat in the American Athletic Conference, and a lot of it's going to be on him. He makes that system go. And I think year 2 under Golesh, year 2 in this system that is tailored to his skill set, he's due for a big year. And that is why he's number 5 on my list. Yes, number 5 on my list. All right, let's get to the final 4. Coming in at number 4, and this was tough. It was tough between Byron Brown and this next guy. I mean, I almost wish I could put them at 4A and 4B because they had such similar seasons. But I'm going Joey Aguilar out of App State. So Aguilar, he had nearly 4,000 yards passing, threw 33 touchdowns. Wasn't as much of a rusher as a guy like Byron Brown, not as much of a threat with his legs. He's a big body, though, 6'3", 225, something like that. Ran for 3 touchdowns, but he was a hoss for App State. And I don't even know that he came into last season expected to be the starter, very similar to Byron Brown. But he transferred from JUCO, won the job, and then led App State, I believe, to a 9-win season last year. And I mean, I'm really looking forward to the showdown early in the season between Liberty and App State. Kaden Salter versus Joey Aguilar should be a heck of a game. But that is my number 4 ranked QB. Let me find my list. At number 3, give me Seth Hennigan out of Memphis. Seth Hennigan out of Memphis. This is Seth Hennigan's statement season. He's been a 4-year starter, or this will be his 4th year. He's had success. They got over that 10-win hump a season ago. This is the season I think we need to see Seth Hennigan go get that conference championship and then go get that playoff bid. I believe if Memphis not even necessarily runs the table, right? Because they could afford to lose to Florida State early on, win out, and then still get that playoff bid, depending on how some of the other dominoes fall. But this is a season I think Memphis is primed. They need to go. I think for the fan base, I think for Silverfield, and I think for Hennigan, this is the year to put together an 11-1 conference championship type season. And then let the dominoes fall as they may, but I would like to think if they put together that type of run, they're going to be that playoff team. I think Hennigan has all the tools. I think we saw him last year, that killer start to come out. Maybe it was against North Texas, with that final drive. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody in the comments. Sorry, I don't have that in front of me right now, but there was a game-winning drive he put together at like the very last drive of the game. Seconds ticking off the clock. I'm pretty sure it was at North Texas. But I think this is the year for him to really silence any doubters that he currently has in terms of, can he go get a conference championship? Can he get Memphis in that playoff bid? They've already landed a huge fish in recruiting to be his successor. It'd be nothing greater than for him to hand the keys to this guy, to a program that he just led to a conference championship, and then, I don't know, possibly a playoff berth. So Seth Hennigan at number 3. Moving on. Well, I don't think I said his numbers. What were? Yeah, he almost a 4,000-yard passer, 32 touchdowns, which was a leap from the season before. I mean, this is a kid, 3,000-yard passer every year. I mean, everything on paper is there for Seth Hennigan. Now he just needs that statement season where he gets that conference championship and then, control what you can control. But you would like to think if Memphis can go 10-1, 11-1, win the conference, they're going to be in the playoff. All right, number 2. Ooh. I'm thinking about making a real-time change right now from what my original... No, I'm not. Give me Kaden Salter at number 2. I thought about giving him number 1 just because he got the New Year's Six bid a season ago, but I'm not going to. Kaden Salter is number 2 on my list. Phenomenal season. Put up Heisman-esque numbers, 3,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard rusher, playing in that Chadwell system. What were his exact? No, he was not a 3,000-yard passer. Forgive me. He threw almost 3,000. He threw 2,700 yards, 31 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, ran for another 1,000, and ran for another 12 touchdowns. That Liberty, everything plays off that triple option game. And he ran it like clockwork. I mean, he ran that system to a T, all the way to an undefeated regular season, conference championship. Then they hit the buzzsaw in the New Year's Six game against Oregon. But still, this dude can go. I think he's ready for a repeat, not just conference championship, but he's looking for a playoff berth this year. 13-0 to start off as to start the season last year. And I think that if Liberty is going to repeat this year as Conference USA champions and then the G5 representative in the playoff, it's going to be on the legs and arm of Kaden Salter. And then finally, coming in at number 1, drum roll, please. Give me Texas State's Jordan McCloud. You may be thinking, Texas State's Jordan McCloud? Yes. Texas State's Jordan McCloud. He is the transfer from JMU. He was the guy that had everybody, including myself, calling for the NCAA to lift their ban and allow JMU to compete for the playoffs. App State ended up ruining their season in that regard, but I don't know if the ban would have gotten lifted anyways. They were allowed to play in a bowl game, but Jordan McCloud ended up transferring out after the coach took the Indiana job, I believe it was, Signetti. Now he's at Texas State. He's there with G.J. Kinney. That is a dangerous combination. This guy can hurt you with his arm. He can hurt you with his legs. And when G.J. Kinney has a kid that can hurt you with his arms and his legs, watch out. So he's my number 1 G5 quarterback coming into the season. I think he makes Texas State a legitimate playoff contender. Now, they've got to win the Sun Belt Conference, and that will not be easy. Kind of like I talked about a couple of days ago, that's one of those conferences similar to the Mountain West where those teams will beat each other up as the season plays on. But man, I think he makes them a serious contender for that. Last year, what were his numbers? 3,600 yards passing, 35 touchdowns, 270 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns, more of a red zone threat down there. But yeah, this dude, I think in this system at Texas State has a chance to really put himself on the map even more so than he did a season ago. Those are my guys. That's my top 10. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know your thoughts. If you disagree with something, I'm fine with that. I've never strayed away or ducked the smoke of people disagreeing with me. All right? You could check the history of my comments, but please just tell me your reasoning. And if there's someone I completely left out, let me know. Obviously, I know who some of you immediately are going to jump in the comments with, and that's Chandler Morris at UNT. He would have been my next guy in. He would have been my honorable mention. I did not include anyone from the MAC, and that's not to dog the MAC. Their quarterbacks right now, half their teams, if not more than that, they don't even have a named starter yet. They got hit, some programs hit by graduation, hit by transfer portal. The top quarterback, in my opinion, a season ago from the MAC, Toledo, DeQuan Finn. Is that his name? My apologies if I messed it up, but he's at Baylor now. So none of those guys were top 10 for me, at least out of the list that I have. I feel good about my list. I feel like my list is fair, and I actually feel like it could end up being pretty accurate. The ones that could come out and really outshine this list, I'm keeping an eye on, are Malachi Nelson, Matt Sluka, and then like I said, any of those top 6, man. If you wanna alternate them however you see fit, feel free, because that's what I said. I feel like there was a natural break, and the margin between each guy in that top 6 is very, very small. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed a little football talk for a change, and like always, thanks for watching. That's it for me today. Trey Smith, College Underdogs. Oh, wait, let me tell you one more thing. I shouldn't have signed off so early. I will be out next week, okay? So don't expect much from the channel next week. Please enjoy your families. Yeah. So don't expect much from me on the channel next week, but the week after, I'll be right back in the mix, really getting ready for college football season 2024. Okay, for real this time, that's it for me today. Trey Smith, College Underdogs.